Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It's Friday, October 31st, a little after 5:30 in the evening, and this is our weekly wrap-up daily review video for our billion-dollar club. That is YieldMax's CONY, MSTY, NVDY, and TSLY. They are single-ticker option income strategy funds, and we're going to go over how they perform today. Before we get started, I'm on X at ETF_Inspector1. Post all things related to the content that I create and the ETFs that I cover. I did have somebody tell me that X actually throttles down putting out your posts when you have a link in your main body of your post. So going forward, I'm going to be typing it up like this and then doing the whole link below thing and then putting the link in the comments. And since we're talking about that, there are two new funds that started today, Curves KYLD and RexShares ULTI. I guess you'd pronounce that ulti. I made videos on both of those if you'd like to take a look under the hood and see what they're trading and how and what they're all about. So they are both up on the channel. So go give those a view if you don't mind. All right, let's take a look. We had a decent recovery from yesterday's drop. Coin up 4.65%. CONY able to pick up just about all of that. That's impressive on a large up day. 4.62%. MSTR up 5.87%. Even more impressive, MSTY outperformed up 6.25%. That's almost unheard of on a big move like that. NVDY was down 0.16%, and NVDY actually dropped even more. That's kind of surprising, down 0.25% just about. And TSLY up 3.74%, with TSLY just about keeping up, only going up 3.28%. So very nice recovery for the most part from yesterday. We'll take a look at our funds and our spreadsheets, and we'll start in alphabetical order with the trades. First off is CONY. All right, so it's the end of the week on Friday, everything expiring on the 31st, so we're going to have to buy to close it all out. So the 350s were pretty expensive, as you can see, $8 to $10 a share, but others were getting to close 355 and above, all change. And then different points in the day. So this stinks. It's a shame we weren't able to close all these 350s closer to this 258 rather than all the way up at this 1051. So probably let's look. Hard to say if they closed them very early in the morning, portions real early and then later, or if it was the highs they paid were early and then they got to pay the lows later. But in any case, it all worked out. So closing those out, selling the other side of the call spreads, and then short selling or selling to open calls for next week. Let's take a look at our strikes. 357.50, 362.50, and 370. And then we're buying calls to finish out those spreads again. All in all, $8.5 million credit on the options trading today. When we look at our holdings, we see an increase from yesterday in our contracts at 300. We talked about it in the trades previously, so now it's showing up in the holdings. So we're now at 17,405 contracts, synthetic contracts at the 300 strike price, and they are valuable, worth 52 million at the start of the day, and then obviously coin jumping by 4.6%. Those will have a very nice increase. And then they also have a synthetic for the end of the year at 390. They're currently deep underwater, going to cost 114 million to close out, minus the fact that they will improve in our favor after the underlying jumped by 4%, but it's still nowhere near 390, so they will still be deep in the negative. All right, I didn't put the orange like I normally do because we know it's Friday, it's expiration day. Everything just got closed out. I don't need to go back and forth with the orange. Today was payday, so everybody that's got CONY got 13.45 cents per share. There's 1.2 billion in assets under management at the start of the day. Yesterday, people bought into the fund. We saw an increase in the outstanding shares of 700,000, bringing it up to over 201 million shares. NAV at the start of the day, 605, closing in the 633 range. So it was a good day overall. Like we said yesterday, after hours, Coinbase announced earnings and they were favorable. Next, we go to MSTY. All right. In MSTY's transactions, we do see some work being done on the I can't talk right now, on the synthetics. So they're closing out the 350s and turning them into 270s. So they're going to take a huge hit on that, having to pay $235 million to close them out, only collecting $68 million on the other side. That's the put side of it. Call side of it, they sold the 350s, which were not very valuable because it's well below that, and bought 270s, which are going to cost $73 million. And then you also have a closeout of 1,000 contracts at the 330. This one's not being moved. This is just closing out. So again, closing out those puts that are underwater cost $6 million on that end, and selling the calls that were out of the money only brought in $250,000. Okay, outside of that, we didn't have a ton of calls to close out. Let's see, there 280s we're closing out. We're closing out these 1,280s to go along with the 1,000 contracts or synthetics that we got out of. And then what was left for the week to close out, 300s and 300s, paying roughly $1 and a little over $1. And now what we're selling for next week, calls are 277.50, 280, 282.50, 285, 287.50, and that's it. So those are the strikes for next week. All in all, it was an absolute bloodbath, $211 million. But basically, that's all got to do with these synthetics. So just to give you an idea, if we totaled up everything that was not related to closing out synthetics that were so bad against us, this would have been an $18 million to the positive day. So trading wise, it was fine. It was just having to close out something deep underwater is what hurt so much. When we switch to the holdings, no changes from yesterday. Call combos, synthetic combos for November 21st, December 19th, and January 16th at 330, 350, and 300. Again, we did just close out these 350s in the tradings today, so we will see that show up in the holdings. The download comes out tonight, so we'll talk about it in the week look ahead video on Sunday. All of the synthetics are in bad shape. Negative 376 million, 261 million, and 145. Now, everything's going to improve in our favor because MSTR had a very nice rebound, 5.8% today. So they won't be as bad as was stated at the start of the day, but they're still not great. All of the calls expired out of the money today. And again, we didn't have to close anything out because everything's already rolled to next week. So we did do some small closeouts and adjustments, but everything expiring today was already done previously. We received 19.24 cents per share. If you have MSTY, I do. So I got that distribution today. I actually tried to use it to buy more MSTY shares because it was, under $11. But it was not allowing, my money was still pending. It wasn't allowing me to use it. So hoping to use it next week. Assets under management, 2.8, it's definitely going to be over 2.9 million after that large increase. So this is, at the start of the day, this is based off the holdings download from last night. People sold out of the fund yesterday, 975,000 shares, bringing it down to just above 281 million. And the NAV at the start of the day, 1029. So to end up close to 11, pretty good day. And that is all we got. Again, Strategy announced earnings after hours yesterday and again had a favorable response. Next we have NVDY for NVIDIA. So in the purple we have our synthetic closing out 1,200 of those contracts. Cost 1.2 million, brought in 1 million. So basically that's a negative 200,000. But then we're going to have to close out all the calls expiring this week that we sold. And unfortunately, I believe, let's see, were they all in the money? Everything expiring this week closed in the money. Yeah, so that's all that we were closing, all the 200s. They were all in the money. They're costing anywhere from 274 to 623, so paying a lot. Selling the other side of the calls, that's only going to bring in change because they were not in the money. And then our new strikes for next week, only bringing in $1 to $2 a share. So overall, we're going to lose money on those transactions. Selling for next week at 210 and 212.50 and 215. Trading for the day resulted in a $8 million debit. All right, when we take a look at our holdings, so we know the 1031s are now gone. We just sold some 210s, some 212.50s, which does not exist, and 215s. So we added to these two that are 3 and 6% out of the money, and then we've also got one in between them now. But we'll look at that at the week look ahead as well. Taking a look at our synthetics, nothing changed. So we've got 165s and 205s, both expiring November 21st. The 165s are worth over 200 million. The 205s would cost us 6 million to close out. NVIDIA had a small down day, 0.2%. So those will go against us, we'll say, in a very small percentage. Let's see, 18.24 cents per share was paid out if you have NVIDIA. Today was payday. There's 8 billion. I hope I've been saying billion every time in the video. I keep making those mistakes. And then I'd go do a new video talking about something with a million shares or $1 million, and I call it 100 million. Assets under management, 1.8 billion. People sold out yesterday, 250,000 shares, bringing it to 110,675,000. NAV at the start of the day, 1676. It only dropped a couple pennies, no big deal. And let's finish off with TSLY. All right, TSLY did not touch any synthetics, so it is just closing of the sold call of the call spreads for this week, and then opening of call spreads for next week. Paying anywhere from 16 cents up to $1.99 to close out, and collecting basically $8 a share to open. So we're going to make a nice difference there. Obviously, selling of the out of the money calls brought in practically nothing, and we're going to buy calls on the other side. So that's going to eat up about $3 of the $8 that we received. All in all, going to end up making $4 to $5 a share. $8.7 million made on the trading day. Obviously, we closed out everything that was expiring today. Let's see our new short strikes for next week: 460, 462.50, 467.50, and 470. Taking a look over here on the holding side, no changes in the synthetics. They are November 21st, 415s and 420s. Both are in the money. They're doing well. And Tesla had a big day, up 3.75%. So those will increase very nicely in value. Right now, before that increase, they're worth a combined $69 million. They paid out today 11.28 cents per share, so long as you had them on X day Thursday and had purchased them prior to then. There's 1.2 billion in assets under management. People bought into the fund yesterday, 475,000 shares, bringing it up to 152,450,000. The NAV at the start of the day, 8.25. They went up by a little over 25 cents on the trading day. So now everything that was expiring on the 31st is gone. And like we said, we basically added to some of these positions plus picked some more. 467.50, I think I said. 467.50, yeah, that's what I said. All right, that is all I have for you. We're at that 15-minute mark. Kind of proud of myself. Try to hit that every time. So got this out kind of early, trying to take the kids around trick-or-treating. So I guess enjoy your weekend, right? There's no trading to do tomorrow. We'll have a week look ahead and payment guesstimate video coming out on Sunday. And thank you for all the support. Like, shares, and comments. Please let other people know that's invested in these funds, that we do detailed daily coverage. All right, so I got a dad joke for you, and then we'll get out of here. So what do you call two witches that live together? Brewmates. Kind of dumb, but fitting for today. So, all right, have a good night, and I'll catch you in the next video.